And hello, welcome back to the stream. It is me, mildly startled, and finished work for today, and we're going to be playing a little bit more of Tactician, Mech Civil War. It was a toss up between this or Unity of Command. I don't really want to start Resident Evil 8 yet, or continue it until really the weekend. Maybe Friday, but I want to really start it at a more convenient time for me. So we're going to be continuing playing as the Union and hopefully trying to win the war by the end of today. Fingers crossed we can, but we will see. I think this is the latest save. I like little speeches at the bottom. Yeah, there's no fancy conversations this time. We had a few disastrous attacks last game, mostly due to my just a lack of command and control on my end. But hopefully now I've got more time and not too stressed about getting to bed early for work, I will have more time to actually play out some more of the key battles. Hey, one moment, boys and girls. You're loading, eh? There's whiskey in the jar. Make sure streamer Mike Studios remains off. I don't want that bad boy on to bring ruin upon me. Thankfully it has decided to stay off this time. Not losing any frames, which is nice. Altogether, not too bad. That's what we like to see. I could try the old Twitch test again. Make sure. What's making me paranoid now is the fact that I've got this new setup, and initially at the start when the stream's beginning, it is a bit buggy with constant timeouts. But hopefully that will stop being an issue as the stream sort of, what do you call it, consolidates. That just might be my monitoring footage. So where were we? Again, let's do a strategic review. We just won several more battles over here. The army of Northwest Virginia is still fairly solidified, and we're building up another army to the north under who? Under who? Under Major James MG James Cooper. Make sure I've got this on high power settings. I do. Okay. And also I believe what's happening now is I've got a new app on my computer, which now enables me apparently to organize where to send my streams first, which I don't particularly like. I am going to turn that off, I think. Yeah. Close game first. And that should hopefully fix that as well. Did I No. What's going on here, Big Shags? Sorry, boys and girls, you're seeing me drag this across the screen. May actually edit it out. Probably not going to though. I'm probably not going to bother. But yeah, so what were we doing? So we've taken Richmond, and we're hopefully going to maintain our positions. I'm just waiting for this to be a fairly ready army up north, over here. And once that's ready, we'll begin moving that down south. And over here, on the west, we got pushed back again, so we've got a new commander under William H. Gibson, who will hopefully, well, be more successful than our predecessors in this theatre. But we will see. We will see. Down over here, we have Department of Ohio. That's just chilling out, not doing too much. And that's going to be moving south once it's been resupplied to enable us to move and cut off the Confederacy. In terms of our national morale, the Confederates are pretty badly smashed morale-wise, so it'll just be a matter of time before I hopefully win the war. But for now, it's July. There's still, I think, a large contingent of Confederate troops. 9,000, 30,000. So I'm in fact going to march these armies. Am I? I think I am. I'm going to take the risk and march them down. I'm going to march these armies down to fight. And just push them completely off that peninsula, so we've finally secured the entirety of this theatre. Also, we'll get... I can't build anymore because these guys aren't ready. Oh well. Oh well. Apparently they're withdrawing. Oh no, they're not. There we go, that's what I want to see. Fairly easy battle. I'm going to auto-resolve that. Oh, and that's where they're all hiding. Let's finally push them out of the north. Gresham can head back over here. Let's start moving the armies back. Well, conscription acts passed, all contracts extended for a limited period, eh? Union passes Revenue Act. Don't really need it anymore. Economically, I'm pretty sorted. What I do need to do, however, sort out Grant. Grant is not doing too well on the supply front. Grant's just going to stay there now. He's not going to move any further because he's in no position to move now. His readiness is pretty kaput. And over here, McClellan's getting his food up, which is nice. Supply wise, he's getting his comms line, not supply. Where are you getting your supply line from? Where are you getting your supply line from, boys? Who knows? Who knows? Up north, what's going on? I know what might fix this. Sorry, boys, 1 second. That's connected. Network 2 is connected. Yeah, connected to 2 Wi-Fi networks. Hope that should be fine. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to march the reserve army down to Petersburg once it's got a high readiness. There's no point marching it now. A lot of my guys are no longer ready. They're going to need to wait for a while to get their supplies back up. So I think there's going to be at the end of the campaign season this month, or this year, so to speak. British bombard Kagoshima. Foreign Japanese relations plummeting. 3 warships sunk. Port and town reduced to rebel. British are victorious. Interesting. Generally Tennessee, not very strong. I'm going to move down and push those guys out. Hopefully this time my Western army will be successful. Okay, I'm gonna fight this one because I don't trust the air. I'm gonna make sure I win 1 battle in the west. So we're gonna make sure we fight this, even though it's gonna be pretty obvious that we're gonna win this. So what we got? Enemies coming from the south. It's gonna be a pretty linear battle by the looks of things. I don't think I'm going to have too many issues on this battle. The Confederate army is going to be very small, and I'm not going to bother marching down both sides of the river. I'm just going to march down centrally down here because I suspect that's where the Confederates will be moving up north from. And most of the points are over here, so I suspect the Confederates will just be holding along this sort of ridge line. So there's no point in doing such a wide advance because that means a lot of my divisions won't be able to join the battle till rather late. So in command we've got William H. Gibson. He replaced Custer, and I replaced several others after disastrous defeats on the west. And we have Brigadier Charles W. Blair, B.G. Horace S. Sargent, Charles Brookwood, and William H. Light. Let us begin the battle. This time I'm not going to give any wide orders. I'm going to give pretty linear orders to my divisional commanders, so that it's a bit more accurate to where I'm going to send them. Oh yeah, and the artillery. Don't forget the artillery. And here we go. Again, I don't often do it, but you got to admire the little things the developers have done, like the music that plays in the background and the line marches. Okay, looks like we've come across the Confederacy now. Looks like they're advancing in line. Hopefully we will get up the hill before the Confederacy can stop us. Not order these orders cancelled, so they can reform over here, like so. And the engagement begins. So Nathaniel Lyon, you're the first one to engage. Let's see how well you do. I suspect you're rather fed up from the constant defeats on this front. There we go. Up against Graham and Anderson, eh? How is the other lines doing? They're almost in position. Let's bring the cavalry round. And the infantry around on a rather daring right flank. This is more, I think, mop up now. I think we're pretty close to winning the war. Not a lot of troops. Oh wait, no, it's just been a bit buggy. Been a bit buggy. Tennessee State Militia, hey? Let's get our artillery nice and up. Nice and up. So they're doing some damage. Not a particularly large amount of artillery in my current army. But that open field with those cannons is going to be rather painful, I suspect. Slowly but surely, my guys move into battle. Leon is doing very well as for being the first engaged. But then again, they have got rifled muskets now. This is more like it. 30,000 battles gives me a lot more room to maneuver. I'm going to send that cavalry to charge. Charge artillery position, charge a light brigade. Run, Ashby, run. Interesting turn of events here. There we go, that's what we want to see. And the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. A lot of fighting in forests, I found, but again it is Missouri, so... Looks like I've actually found a commander worthy of leading the west. You can actually get a victory this time. Yeah, I thought Ashby would surrender. I think it's all over for the Confederacy. I'm guessing that's an order from the Confederate commander telling that guy to withdraw, but it's going to be a bit too late. I do like cavalry. That's just the equipment that makes them so valuable. But quickly eroding a flank. Pickles. Pickles is refusing my orders. I don't blame him. Ruffles getting smashed over there with a cannon. Jackson. Okay, Jackson. Let's see how well you do trying to hold against the horde of Union on the right. Looks like you're late to the party, Sergeant. Or yeah, Sergeant. Thanks for turning up though, I suppose. Who's fled to battle? That's one. Okay, that's all. That's understandable. I won't replace you because I think you were right to do that. These guys are really well equipped. Starting to see the Union industry that's starting to really take off. I mean, look at that. Maynard carbines. 12 rounds a minute, 300 yard range, and a Jocelyn rifle carbine. 300 yards, 10 rounds a minute. Mediocre accuracy. Very good accuracy. This is kind of wipe the floor of these guys. Look at that. This looks like the Confederates are putting up stiff resistance on the left. But again, it's the cannons are the key issue. Once the cannons go, we're okay. Was that an attempt at a charge? I'm guessing it was. It was a nice attempt. Yeah, I thought they'd retreat. Finally, AI is better about making more logical decisions in smaller battles. Once you get sort of 100,000 size armies, that's when the AI starts almost throwing its armies away. Take a look at the casualties. So I don't think we should count those because this includes missing as well. Now missing also I think refers to routed units. So these are units that will rejoin the battle after it's been fought. Wound is the one what counts. Wounded basically means temporarily injured. They'll come back to join the battle, to join the armies after, and killed means they're gone for good. So if you got 70,000 say wounded, it means give it a year and maybe you'll get that 70,000 back. Whereas if you've got, say, 10,000 killed, that's 10,000 off your brigades that's gone forever. Looks like the Confederacy's national morale is dumping now. I like what they did in terms of debt. It means you don't really have to obsess around your economy. Sometimes I feel like Total War becomes a building simulator, with having to focus so much on the economy and less about the war. I like how in this game it's simulated and you can influence it to an extent. It's not really it's important enough to want paying attention to it, but not important that you end up it becomes a chore to focus on completely. I think I know what the problem is. It's my iPad. My iPad's fighting over the Wi-Fi, and that's why it's it looks like my stream's down when in fact it's not. But yeah. Lowest victory at Springfield. Army of Tennessee fleeing in panic. So our first victory of the West, our literal first victory in the West. I believe anyway. That should hopefully mean we no longer have to worry too much. But again, I think a lot of these units weren't too good anyway. A lot of these Confederate armies in the West weren't particularly proactive, a bit damaged if I'm honest. Hopefully they'll be close enough to reinforce. And this army's going to come down soon anyway, so hopefully this attack isn't going to be anything too dangerous. And how is Mr. McClellan, eh? What are you up to, Mr. Mac? Okay, you're good. Guess where you're going? Down to Jackson. It's not even worth fighting. I've got so much overwhelming superiority. Just suicidal battles. Seems like the Confederacy has a lot of these tiny little armies, which is not very good for it. If I'm honest. I wonder if it's going to keep throwing men at me. That might be one of the bad things, because there's a lot of these cores. I think maybe the core system, although historically accurate, is actually the undoing of the Confederacy, because these cores just aren't helping it. It's sometimes being forced in late, whereas my army system is just much more effective, having this one big army. So I don't believe these figures. I think these figures are false. Pretty down south now. I think I'm going to just keep on campaigning down south if I needed to. Like what, 69 degrees down here? Yeah, AI just doesn't know what to do now, does it? No, that's just going to keep throwing men piecemeal at me. You're almost there yet? Come on, get down to Jackson. Yeah, very passive force here. I may have to like ramp up the AI's aggressiveness, but then again, the AI's aggressiveness is sort of screwing it over here by just constantly throwing itself at me. So it swings and roundabouts really. Sometimes it's good for the AI to be very aggressive, like maybe for the Union campaign when it's got more resources, but right now it seems rather bad for the Confederacy to be aggressive. Go take Vicksburg, and then we'll smack down a supply line. There you go, bang down another supply line for you. What's going on over here? Again, there's a big old army here, but the British doesn't want to use it. $60,000 men in total over there. And I've got a feeling there's a little hidden Confederate army over here. I keep occasionally seeing it pop up. New policy. What? 1863. You know what? I think because we're doing so well, we'd probably do the abolition of slavery if we wanted to do it. But I don't want to keep on increasing Confederate national morale. What was the difference between the Emancipation Proclamation and the abolition of slavery? I'll have to Google that. I'm gonna fight all these battles. I can't trust. I'm gonna make sure the West is secure. I can't keep auto-resolving the battles in the West. I remember what happened last time. So what we got? What's the issue? What we got map-wise? Enemy over here, capture points over here. Always on the offensive I am. Sometimes I just want to be defensive. Hmm. This just looks like the choke point, which we'll be fighting a battle over. Soggy bottom, eh? I too have a soggy bottom. And cavalry can just do whatever it wants. And red pond. Very picturesque. Lots of bottoms here. I can tell the people who the cartographers were very immature. You're indecisive if you're taking very long to give orders. Yeah, cautious. Is that a fence? Yeah, it's a fence, not fortifications, I was going to say. You've got some interesting fortifications you have there. Yeah, I thought this is where the enemy defensive line would be. God, what cannons are those? They're smacking me. My cannon's by itself, you know what time it is. Charge! Frontal charge your cannons! That's disappointing. Okay, so that's a little bug there. Sometimes it's nice to have an early end today, though, so I can actually move my armies into a nice coherent battle line. Send the orders out. Got the cavalry actually somewhere useful, which is nice. And we'll move the flanking division under William H. Light to get behind the enemy. I suspect it's very much like this in 1864. It's pretty clear that the Confederacy was going to lose. The slow pace of mopping up last stragglers. Really, the hardest part for the Union is the early game, because you're actually trying to fight politics and get the right policies to survive. And then late game, it's pretty easy for the Union. Because the Confederacy has been slowly dying. But the game basically gets easier for you if you're playing the Union as the game progresses. But again, the Union does feel much like the beginner's country to play as. A bit like the Ultimate General. Like that is devastating. The amount of damage I've done with those with the cavalry just goes to show how potent it is. You're getting smashed. Look at that. I don't think there's like any of them left. I suspect a Confederate retreat soon. Come back round, son. I need to give you a gift. Let's aim for a cut-off, shall we? try and wipe this army out. Let's try and wipe this bad boy out. This sergeant is so woefully slow. Take your time, take your time. Sorry, McCulloch, but you were done for when you saw the wave of Union troops converging on you. Okay, start moving into engagement range. I'm sick and tired of these cannons just mowing us down. The charge for Soggy Creek. Yeah, I'm well aware of McCulloch surrendering. No hope. No hope, these guys are surrounded. And with these cavalry, they do nothing but mop up. Like, look at that pile of bodies. Yeah, some ways quite depressing because the campaign is slowly coming to a close. Is that Missouri secure? Yes, yes it is. Missouri has finally been secure. And that just leaves final knockout blow, which will be over here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a cheeky little cavalry army in Kentucky. And this cavalry army is just going to cause nothing but pain. Delaware, Indiana, Kentucky, Kentucky, Kentucky. No, no Kentucky. How about Indiana then? Okay, and then we're going to add a load of cavalry. Goddamn core system. No one likes the core system. That gives me 30,000 men. 30,000 men's enough. Oh, that's going overkill. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir. Reduced to the minimum, the private soldier consisted of one man, one hat, one jacket, one shirt, one pair of pants, one pair of drawers, one pair of shoes, and one pair of socks. Baggage with one blanket, one with a blanket. Okay. Vaccine service has been around since the Commonwealth of Virginia as early as 1607. Okay. Interesting. The more you know, eh? There's another Confederate army lurking. It is. But I've got no supply, so I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to retreat back to my supply lines. Yeah, the West is an awful place to fight over. My boys on the way, yes they are. And we'll go into winter quarters one final time. Interesting. Interesting. Did not see that coming. The army of Tennessee has come to attack McClellan. Someone has moved for the defense of Vicksburg. An even battle as well. Oh no. You're telling me my units are all broken? Not all of them. Just some of them. So where do we think the enemy is going to be coming from? Over here. Hopefully we've got enough to win this. That's a very open map with not a lot of capture points. What's with this sun glare on this map as well? What was this bloody ray tracing? A lot of devastated units here. That might be a little bug. I don't think the armies are supposed to act like that. But then again, they have been fighting and are low on supplies, so all swings and roundabouts really. But I'm about to have a major defeat and having fought the battle yet. I think in this situation it should just be an automatic withdrawal for my army if it's as bad as they say. I do want to fight for this battle, so I do want to hold on to Vicksburg. Just didn't expect half my army to rout. The artillery nice and close. But that artillery has to be almost point blanking. Because they will have the numerical advantage. But then again, the bit of AI doesn't appear to be wanting to do anything. A bit disappointing. Maybe I think maybe the AI's had a step back with this new readiness, but I don't see why it would affect the campaign maps, the battle maps, if I'm honest. Pounders, 6 pounders, 6 pounders. I got infantry in my cavalry. Yeah, this is a buggy battle. Disappointing. Okay, skirmish has finally popped out. Oh, McClellan, this is your first engagement in the entire war. You've had a good time, but now you need to make your money. No more holidays down in Alabama or wherever Vicksburg is. No, first flight experience, that's probably why they're thinking about running. I was 10 speeding this because not that interesting. I sort of lost respect for this battle because of the start. Is it heating up? I'm going to get some AI action. I'm going to be intelligent. Okay, got some guys wounded in action, but nothing too concerning. That flank is starting to give way. Okay, it's broken. Yeah, I don't know. I thought these guys were about. I don't know what you're doing. These guys are just cut their own detail. Yeah, those cavalries just decided to do their own thing. What is going on? Don't know, but apparently won. Nah, pretty disappointing battle. Yeah, it's like margarine. Sometimes it gets it's not really like margarine. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes the AI is really bad. This was one of the cases where the AI was really rather bad. Sadly. But no more moves from McClellan because he can't got any manpower, so I've got to wait basically for McClellan to reorg. So it's going to be another year before I can cut off the Confederacy and probably win. I think I need to get their morale down to 25%, so I need to get 25 more before I get a GG no re. There's whiskey in a jar. There's loading going on. So I've held Vicksburg, but I feel as though that army is pretty weak and needs reinforcement. And I need the Kentucky boys to start moving down. They keep fighting piecemeal, it's not doing anything. This is where the aggression from the AI is not good. None of these guys are ready to march. Pointing. Casualties for days. I can just keep doing this all day, it just doesn't matter to me in the slightest. This stage in the game, it's pretty abundantly clear that I'm not going to win. Baton Rouge is the next stop. Do-do-do-do. Yeah, they're on 32%. Alright, I gotta be careful that these guys don't die of starvation. Can I make it down to New Orleans? No, God no, I can't. Apparently there's a 160,000 army down here. So we're going to make the Department of Ohio a bit bigger. I'm going to transfer units out of the We'll transfer units out of the Department of the West as well. Like, there's no need to have 50,000 men in Department of the West right now. Okay, and let's do our transfer. Let's bang all these in here, and I'll rebuild it properly. It's good enough. That's fine. I can live with that. That should hopefully give me a healthy chunk of men for the move on to New Orleans. Which I'll probably be doing at the end of the start of next year. Yeah, I know, McClellan, you're getting your supply soon. Nah, you're not ready enough to march yet. Never-ending battles over here. This is never going to stop. March aren't even closer to this. What is going on here? No idea. With absolute devastation, that's what's going on. A lot of units dead, a lot of casualties, a lot disabled, but I can't trust that figure, it's just not accurate. Okay, your supplies back up. March on New Orleans and win us this war, McClellan. I can win that. There we go. Mississippi in Union hands, Confederate cut in half, Union morale soars, and Scots anaconda bites. Union military operations along the Mississippi River have been successful. All the major ports along America's greatest waterway have fallen to their armies. This success is widely celebrated in the northern cities. It's recognized as being a major milestone on the road to victory. General William Scott designed the Anaconda Plan in 1861 to strangle the Confederacy holding New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Vicksburg, and Memphis. Allows Union River Squadrons, troops and supplies to be moved rapidly to engage any Confederate troops in Louisiana, Mississippi or Kansas. It also allows the opening of new fronts along major waterways. This news is received with great dismay as the South, as the Confederacy has actually been cut in half with no further hope of mutual support between the two. And that, I think, oh, 1 point away. 1 point away. Pressure takes damage, okay. So I think all I need to do is take one province, one Confederate province, and I win. So if I just take this cavalry and send them over here to Atlanta. Make sure these guys are raiding as well. $25. Oh, so close. There we go, the war's over. So, what do I think of the current patch with this Union campaign? So I've got to bear in mind that the patch sort of came into effect halfway through my game. So I find that Confederates, I found that the AI struggled a bit more with its readiness because they are much more defensive. Then they weren't very aggressive in their moves, and maybe because the patch came in halfway and a lot of their armies were stranded. But there was some Confederate armies, a massive one over here. Apparently a massive one over here that simply wasn't being used. Like the Confederacy was not using it, and bear in mind I had the Confederate AI unaggressive, I believe, meaning that they should have been doing something with it. Things like they've got large amounts of manpower apparently on paper, but in reality I think the Confederates, there's worse for the Confederacy because they don't have enough decent weapons, so all they end up doing is getting massive casualties in battles rather than actually preferring to have a smaller, more effective army, which is perhaps counterproductive. I think the core system is a bit. I think the devs may need to lean the reinforcements more in the AI's favor, because right now I feel like a lot of their cores are going in piecemeal and getting wiped out, which is not too good. Especially as the Union, because you have such a massive amount of manpower, you just put it on in one big army, and it will just get deleted, and the Confederate army just gets deleted in piecemeal, with like 25,000 cores just coming in one at a time, getting wiped. So I think they may need to do something about this. That, as opposed to the AI, I think the Confederate AI is perhaps on the battlefield has got a bit worse. But again, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it's really, really good. Sometimes it's pretty bad. In the last few battles on this, it's been pretty bad, which is unfortunate. But still, I've enjoyed this campaign. I enjoyed the new mechanic of readiness. I think the readiness is really good, actually, because the new readiness mechanic slows down the battle. That means you can no longer Zerg rush. I also think it'll be very interesting for the Confederate campaign, because before, a good strategy for the Confederate campaign was to immediately attack into Kentucky, immediately attack into Missouri, and take and flip both states to the Confederacy. But now with the new readiness, I'm not sure if that will be possible anymore, and you may just have to end up holding south of Kentucky and Missouri until you're ready enough to go on the offensive. I very much enjoyed this campaign. I wasn't actually going to finish it, but because a load of people watched it, I was like, okay, let's get it done. Let's get that tick in the box, because I don't want to leave it half done. But I like this game, and I like where it's going. I think it needs a few patches, a few quick fixes. But I think I'll give it a go on the Confederate side, and give it a different coat of paint, and probably try and give the AI a bit more of a chance again to be aggressive. Maybe I'll boot up that Union aggressiveness really high, just to make them more aggressive, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a much more interesting end late game.
With malice toward none, with
I'm gonna let this run for you boys while I go for a smoke.
right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America. Epilogue. The Nation's Wounds. The Civil War was at best barbarism. For long years, Americans had fired shots and heard the shrieks and groans of the wounded. As the guns fell silent, the loud cry for blood, more vengeance, and desolation was no longer heard. As the last Confederate armies laid down their weapons, there is no hatred, but only exhaustion. The Southerners who raised the rebel flag in defiance, who fought and killed Union men, are not marched into captivity and punished. In the hell that is war, they had suffered plenty and lost, their homes laying in ruin. The feud among fellow Americans escalated into a terrible war from the will of man to enslave other men. With the Union victory, this evil came to an end once and for all. Now, all Americans, regardless of the color of their skin, were finally free, even if true equality would require decades, even centuries, to reach. And now, it would be time to bind the nation's wounds that had long been bleeding and finally torn all open in the Civil War. However, it would not be under Lincoln's leadership the nation's wounds would start to heal. Lincoln's abruptly ended presidency saw only a brutal civil war, but in the end, the Union, preserved under his leadership, would eventually emerge stronger than it was before the war. But a just and lasting peace with all nations would not be cherished for long. In fulfilling the manifest destiny, war would continue to be ever present.
Ugh, okay, so you can see, oh, it's all gone black. Okay, no worries. National morale, yeah, pretty standard. I think at the end you really do have to push to take the objectives to actually win campaigns, especially as the Union, because otherwise it'd be fine for ages. I think you can win a load of battles and do it, but here's the breakdown of the loss of morale. So lost 30.59 to battles, and then through town occupation they lost 27, and loss of capital they lost 20. With a plus minus difference in terms of town occupation by 343, so that must be cumulative. It's a pity I can't look at the rest of it. Come on now. In terms of my lost morale, it was mostly just through militia act, invasions, so 2 invasions, and that's about it really. I didn't lose much else in terms of my national morale, which is quite interesting. But of course, total cumulative is minus 18.9x. That's as the war goes on. I suspect you're losing more morale as the game progresses as the Union. National support, just average support, pretty high national support within states. Morale of armies. My morale is actually getting worse compared to Confederacy, but it doesn't really matter. Lower states are fine. Men fielded, I don't believe that. Don't believe that for a second they had that many men fielded. And I can believe the casualties. So let's inspect the battlefield. So over here, $30,000, 40, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000. See, if they'd had that as one big army, then that would have made it for an interesting battle. But because they're using it piecemeal, They've got so many cores, it's just they're just getting destroyed individually. And it's a bit disappointing because they could have had a few really big, decent battles here, but we didn't in the end because the AI's use of the core system's not that optimal. Well, there should be less armies, but larger armies. Then over here, I don't know what's going over here. 20,000, 30,000. 50,000. 70,000. So that's a 70,000 strong army here, which could have been used. They could have actually used it to cut me off, to actually extend this war, make it fairly interesting. But again, it seems like Confederate AI was just extremely passive, like really passive. It refused to move this massive army, which would have been of great use. Maybe it's due to the supply system. Maybe they're moving through here, there's no supply, and they're basically just starving to death, and they're all paralyzed there because they don't have any supply. That may be the reason why, but I wouldn't know. Over here, 3,000, 30, about 50,000. 50,000 men here, again not being used. 50,000 men is not being used. Yes, the Confederate is supposed to be a defensive AI in most cases, but the key issue here is that it's defensive, but it's not reacting to invasions. It will just stay there and allow me to do whatever I want, just march on down. Like, this would have easily been stopped if the Confederates had wanted to, Confederate AI wanted to. So it's still a long way to go with the current AIs. Again, we've got massive armies here, but what are they being used for? Let's take a look. 36,000 men being over here. $80,000 men here over and not being used. $118,000 men down south is not being used. Wait a minute, was it 118,000 men? No, 11,000. That's me talking my ass. 35,000. What you can see is cumulative. There's a load of armies, a load of manpower being used, but not being used for anything. So altogether, interesting campaign. But I do think the AI does need some improvement now. I think the new readiness mechanic has helped balance the game, but now the devs need to focus more on making the AI's armies more, or making the AI's use of its armies more effective. Because there's no point having 516,000 men or 544,000 men, like twice the number I have, and having most of them down south over here. Still, interesting campaign. Very much enjoyed it. Of course, eventually you can go down abolition, and you can go down Union Forever and all that jazz. And the Banking Act if you really want to do finances, but don't really need to. So next time, I think when I come back, I will be playing probably, I don't know, Resident Evil 8 and just chilling with that for a bit. And then afterwards, I think I am going to go to bed. So I'm going to have dinner at 4, so we've got about an hour ready, and then I'll maybe come back to this once I've been refreshed. It's a game I always come back to. I don't play it to death, otherwise you get burnt out. And then eventually when I do get really bored, we'll move on to the Rome Remastered. Still, that was the Union campaign. Always very sad to see the end of a Union campaign, but still very enjoyable nonetheless. So, altogether, thumbs up for me, and I will see you boys shortly.